Alright guys, how's it going? So, I have a PlayStation Vita that I just bought off of eBay. This Vita was, I don't know, it was pretty cheap, right? And it was posted for sale as is because the seller said that when you plug it in, the orange light turns on, but the console never turns on itself, right? It just shows an orange light like it's charging. So, but it was listed as being an excellent cosmetic condition, which, I mean, if you look at it, aside from my greasy ass fingerprints, it's actually not too scuffed. It's not really all that scratched up. It is in pretty good shape, especially for one of these first generation PlayStation Vitas. Usually they're pretty scuffed up and pretty rough looking. So I was like, you know what? Fine. You know, if it doesn't work, if I can't figure out what's wrong with it, I can just swap the guts out and have a really nice looking shell, really nice looking case. So I went ahead and I bought it. Right, it shows up, and I go ahead and I start I'm trying to not give up on it. Right, I don't want to just get this console and write it off completely as a loss. You know, if I can save it, I want to save it. So what I did was I started to obviously scroll through Google, scroll through Reddit, scroll through iFixit, try to find a way to fix this, right? YouTube, obviously. So some of the answers that I found were to hold the power button, the PlayStation button, and the right trigger for like 30 seconds, and it's supposed to do a soft reset. It didn't do that. Somebody else said plug it into a computer and then push the power button as you're plugging it in, and it'll turn on. Yeah, nothing happened. Saw another answer, another response, another solution where somebody said to plug it into a turbocharger, you know, something that provides like a high amperage wall charger, and leave it there overnight, and it should turn on the next day. Did that, nothing happened. So at this point, it's looking pretty bleak, you know, for this poor PlayStation Vita. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. I open it up, and somebody had suggested, you know, unplug the battery, leave it unplugged for, you know, 5 minutes, whatever. Man, I left this thing unplugged for an hour, and it still wouldn't turn on. At this point, I'm lost, right? At this point, I'm like, man, I might just have to call it quits, you know? Like, I'm not super, super good with soldering and finding, you know, fixing broken traces and shit like that. So what I did was I started to pull out ribbon cables, and, you know, clean them all off, air dusted out all the connectors, put everything back together, make sure the screen wasn't cracked or broken or any way, make sure it was connected. And everything looked fine. There was no corrosion. There was no like missing components. It looked good. And so it was really baffling to me why it wouldn't turn on. And that's when I figured out, well, it's probably the power switch, right? Probably the power button itself. I mean, you push the power button and nothing happens, but it's taking a charge. And I started poking around my multimeter, and the power button rail where you plug the ribbon cable into the connector, that was the hot pin was still getting voltage, and the battery was still sending the proper amount of voltage, and it was still holding a charge, and it was fine. So what I did, I'm not going to show you guys how to take it apart. There's so many videos online on how to take it apart. You take off the 4 screws on the back and then the 2 on the underside, and then you use a spudger or a credit card or something. Start from the top, work your way into the crease, and just pull it apart, and it just pops apart. Open it from top to bottom. And kind of hold it like a taco. Alright, I'm holding it like a taco right now. So what you're going to want to do is, I don't know if you can see. So I showed you that the power button doesn't work. It's not turning on. So what I've got is a pair of tweezers. You're going to want to lift up the black latch over the power connector. Mine fell off, so I think it actually broke. So I'll have to find scavenge a part from another motherboard somewhere. But what you're going to want to do, you're going to take your tweezers. You're going to want to touch a couple of these pins together and just hold it there. I can't tell you exactly which pins you're going to want to touch with these tweezers, you're just going to want to touch them, and you want to hold it there for a second, right? Use something like tweezers or a paper clip. You want something that's metal, because you're actually trying to short it, right? I believe if we just hold this there, we'll find the right pins. You have to hold it like a taco because you got to make sure all your connectors in the back are still plugged in. You don't want to just let them flop around because you could break them. The battery connector, the touchpad connector. So I'm just touching pins, trying to get it to short. Okay. So, shorter those pins in the back, and look at that. Blue light came on. Screen came on. It's probably still on. I may have unplugged something when I moved it around like that. I definitely unplugged something when I moved it around like that. But you get the point. So it does work. Touchscreen does work. Everything works fine. It's just a matter of, you know, you gotta test it and figure that out. Everything works great. PlayStation Vita is gonna live. I can buy another power supply or power switch ribbon cable for like $14. Obviously, it's fine on the motherboard. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that. I know there's not a whole lot of documentation on the Vita, so I was hoping that this video would help somebody out. Good luck. As always, be careful. Don't break your console even more. If this video was helpful for you, I would appreciate if you drop it a like. Let me know that it helped you guys. Leave a comment. And I will see you all around. I don't know. Maybe I'll make another video again. Who knows? We'll see. See ya.